Hey everyone, this is the No God. I'm Chiyo Natsu, charting the space between knowing and not knowing. In our last module, we confronted the heart of the GSISOM framework, the paradoxical principle and PD Taiyur, a source that is simultaneously absolute simplicity, a static law, and infinite potential, a dynamic zo, driven by an inherent non-identity in that compels it to generate reality. But how does this abstract paradoxical source translate into the specific structured? If An Pinto is the seed, what are the fundamental growth patterns, the inherent characteristics that emerge as this seed sprouts within the unified space, a VS versus PSC? GSISOM proposes that the unfolding of An Pio isn't random chaos. It necessarily gives rise to a set of 7 intrinsic features. These aren't external laws imposed upon the universe. They are the inevitable consequences, the logical expressions of the foundational paradox manifesting itself through self-organization. Think of these 7 features as the fundamental operating principles, or the architectural DNA of our cosmos, as described by GSISOM. They define the essential character of reality as it emerges from the source. Let's explore them one by one. The first feature eroded from the foundational non-identity ain and the initial act of self-reference inequality. Because the source cannot remain perfectly uniform, difference arises. This isn't just a minor imperfection. It's the fundamental engine of all cosmic activity. Inequality manifests as gradients differences in information density, potential, or structural properties, first within the hidden virtual space AVSS and subsequently projected into physical space PSS. These gradients are crucial because they drive information flow. Just as water flows downhill, information flows from areas of high potential or density to areas of low potential or density. This flow isn't passive. Through non-linear dynamics, small initial inequalities can be amplified, leading to the formation of complex structures. Without inherent inequality, there would be no flow, no interaction, no self-organization, only stagnant uniformity. Inequality is the necessary spark that ignites the cosmic engine. The second feature might seem counterintuitive given the focus on inequality flatness, but this isn't about the geometric flatness of space-time in PS, which is an emergent property itself. Just allow this to the foundational simplicity and potentiality of virtual space. Conceptually, the VS substrate, reflecting the static zo aspect of An Pinto, is absolutely simple, pre-geometric, pre-dimensional. It's a flat in the sense of lacking inherent, pre-defined structure. This foundational simplicity, this emptiness of form, is paradoxically what allows for infinite possibility. It's the perfectly blank canvas upon which any structure can potentially emerge. The dimensions and geometry we experience in physical space are not fundamental properties of this canvas, but rather patterns crystallized or folded out of this flat potentiality through the process of emergence. A flatness is the necessary condition of boundless potential, the quiet background enabling the intricate foreground to appear. The third feature is the foundational principle itself and PPJO. It's listed as a feature because its influence isn't confined to the origin point. Its paradoxically perpetually permeates and informs the entire emergent reality. And Petit Pi serves as the universal information source. All structures, laws, and phenomena are ultimately expressions of its latent potential. It's the absolute ground state, the baseline of informational simplicity from which all complexity differentiates. And crucially, it's the non-material foundation reminding us that within GSISOM, information and logic are primary, while matter and energy are emergent results. The persistent influence of An Peptaladon's paradox is why emergent reality retains features like dynamism, potentiality, and the possibility of encountering limits or contradictions. The source code continues to run its paradoxic logic echoing throughout the system. How does complexity arise from simplicity? Through the fourth feature, emergence. This is the core mechanism of creation within GSISOM. Simple rules and interactions at one level give rise to novel, unpredictable, and often irreducible properties and structures at higher levels. Emergence is hierarchical. Fundamental particles emerge, forming atoms. Atoms form molecules. Molecules form cells. Cells, organisms form ecosystems and societies. Each layer builds upon the stability achieved by the layer below, governed by the principles of AS and HMO. The universe constructs itself layer by painstaking layer. Crucially, emergent properties are often irreducible. Consciousness cannot be fully understood just by studying neurons. Life cannot be fully understood just by studying molecules. The whole becomes genuinely more than or different from the sum of its parts. Emergence is how the universe transcends its simpler origins to create genuine novelty. The fifth feature emphasizes that the GSISOM universe is never static dynamism. Rooted in the foundational non-identity reality is fundamentally process, flow, and transformation. This isn't about movement in space, it's about the continuous unfolding of information, the constant interplay of condensation and dissolution, IAS, the evolution across hierarchical levels, IMAO. Stability itself is a dynamic equilibrium, DSS. Furthermore, time itself emerges from this dynamism. As discussed previously, the flow of time is the measure of this fundamental cosmic becoming. It's not a container for events, but an intrinsic property of the universe's ceaseless information processing. Dynamism is the universe's intrinsic pulse. The sixth feature introduces a potentially counter-intuitive aspect to a non-locality. GSISOM suggests the connections and influences might not be strictly limited by the spatial separation and speed of light constraints as perceived within physical space. This potential for non-locality might be rooted in the underlying virtual space, EVSA, which may possess different topological properties or allow for forms of information transfer not bound by PS geometry, or it could arise from the holistic nature of the origin, implying a fundamental interconnectedness persisting beneath emergent separation. Phenomena like quantum entanglement, where measuring one particle instantaneously influences its distant partner, might be glimpses of this deeper, non-local layer of reality. Non-locality challenges our classical intuitions about space and causality, suggesting the universe might be more interconnected than it appears through our filtered perception. Finally, the seventh feature proposes that the universe, at its most fundamental level, operates according to a computational nature. Its dynamics can be understood as vast, multi-layered information processing. In this view, physical laws are emergent algorithms or rules governing how information transforms and interacts, primarily operating within the VS substrate. The unfolding of the cosmos, the emergence of structure, even the evolution of life and consciousness can be framed as stages in an ongoing cosmic computation. This doesn't necessarily mean the universe is a literal digital computer in the way we build them. The nature of the computation could be far more complex, potentially analog quantum, or operating under a non-classical paradox logic. But the core idea is that information processing is not just something that happens in the universe. It is what the universe fundamentally does. These seven features, inequality, flatness, and apitako itself, emergence, dynamism, non-locality, and computational nature, are not isolated principles. They are deeply intertwined, mutually dependent aspects of a single, coherent reality unfolding from the paradoxical source. Inequality drives the dynamism. Flatness enables emergence. And Pandora's paradox underlies everything. Emergence builds complexity through computational processes. Non-locality hints at the hidden unity beneath the emergent structure. They work together, a symphony of principles orchestrating the grand performance of cosmic becoming. In this module, we have sketched the operational blueprint of the GSISOM universe by exploring its seven intrinsic features. These principles describe how a reality born from paradox and Penio necessarily manifests as dynamic, emergent information processing, hierarchically structured, and potentially non-locally connected. They bridge the gap between the abstract foundational principle and the specific characteristics of the cosmos we experience. They are the essential rules governing the unfolding logic chain we introduced in Module 1, but GSISOM goes deeper. Beyond these operational features, it proposes 6 essences, qualities that delve into the more profound potentials and implications of this information universe concerning meaning, consciousness, value, and transcendence. In Module 4, we will begin to explore these 6 essences, starting with the profound implications of information transcendence and the seeds of meaning hidden within the semantic potential of the cosmos. The structure reveals itself, but the mystery deepens. The features are mapped, yet the potential feels boundless. Join us next time as we explore the resonances beyond the structure. Until then, keep charting the space.